Hi BookTube and happy Friday. I had a very long day at work. I start work at 6 in the morning, and I was on the phone from around 6:30 a.m. all the way to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's a lot for me considering I don't work in customer service. I am never on the phone that long, but between phone calls and meetings and whatnot. But so all that to be said, I really wanted to treat myself. It's a beautiful day outside. It's kind of hot. It's around 80, which I know is not terribly hot, but considering it's been in like the 60s and 70s consistently, going up to 80 with like that full sun and glare was a lot. But it's like, sorry for the dappled background, but I just couldn't bear to close the windows when it's so sunny and nice outside. So I wanted to treat myself, and so I went to the local library bookstore, and most of the books are between like $1 and $3, and I was like, that's exactly what I need today. And I finally got my car, my car back because I had to put it in the shop and they had to order a part. So it took them almost a week. It took them 6 days. So I haven't had a car to be able to go out anywhere this entire time. So like I have a car and I have like $20 I can spend. So I got a bag full of books for $20 and I wanted to share them with you. So the first one here is Chicken Today, Feathers Tomorrow by Belle Taylor Hinder. I recently read a book about the Oregon logging companies, like a memoir about that, like a boy who was raised in the logging camps and then who became a logger himself. And then like he was like 1910 to like 1940, 1950. And so he also was talking about like the decline in logging compared to what it was during his father's days. But this one is about logging as well, but it's like a humorous tale. It says, humorous, heartwarming story of the wife of an itinerant logger of the Northwest, and she's a mother of 3. And so just the cover, like the title is what caught my eye. I just saw the spine, and then when I pulled it out and I see this cover, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have I have to read it. And here's the author on the back here. So yeah, I am very curious about this book, and it's gonna be up there on the priority list. I have to get to this soon. Let's see if there is some pictures here of her, and so here's the 3 kids that she's mentioning. And then it's like with the giant roots and the stump and all of that here. So yeah, this just is like so much fun to read. And especially like going into it, knowing a little bit about logging. Now that I read that book, I read the book a week or 2 ago, and so it's like it's perfect timing. And just a bunch of pictures of their, going on trips and stuff. But here's like their family picture. So yeah, this is just so, it looks like a lot of fun. And then as you can tell, like when I go through these books, I spent the majority of my time in like the nonfiction nature area. I did look at the history and all of that, but they had a lot of newer books. And when I go to used bookstores, I always try to find books I know that won't be available on ebook because I read a lot of ebooks. And luckily my library has almost anything that is available on ebook. They'll have it for me. So I always try to get the older stuff. So anyway, so you can tell as I go through these, I spent a lot of my time in the nature section. But, the older books. But this is Before the Echo, Essays on Nature by Pete Dune. The cover got me because it says drawings by Diana Marlinsky. And it is full of, like, beautiful illustrations here. Like I feel like every other page has these really cute drawings. Let's see. There's one of like the footprints. So yeah, I can never pass up an essay collection on nature. Like I have so many, it's ridiculous. I do not need another one. But this is short. This is, I feel like 200 pages or so, 140 pages with illustrations. I mean, I couldn't pass it up. So yeah, there's that one. And then I got an itty bitty book. This is River Notes, The Dance of Herons by Barry Lopez. And is there any illustrations in this one? No. But this, let's see. Is there any description on here? Yeah, there's not. This is just like, quotes on the back. But yeah, Barry Lopez, like, he's like quintessential nature writing. And I have a couple of his books on my shelf, but I've never heard of this one before. But I know he's a really good writer. The next one is An Eastern Naturalist in the West, Dallas Lore Sharp, 1912. And so it's like Easterners, perspective on what the West was like. And I am mostly curious about, his take on the West, back in the, 110 years ago, what it looked like then compared to now. But there's some birds on the back here. Let's see here. Yeah, it was originally published in 1914. It's like a newly edited version. Let's see. Sharp traversed researching the bird species along the Oregon's coastline, like through like the mountains and the cliffs and marshes around Mount Hood and like the River Gorge area here. So yeah, that's very interesting. So it's like really local history. Here is his car he's gonna use to trips around the mountains. So yeah, this just looked really interesting, and I really want to do more exploring of the Oregon area, because I've seen like the big highlights, but just I think it'd be really fun to pick one of these books on my shelves that are located around here, and then just like maybe record lots of video and do like a vlog of like me going to where they're all the sites they're talking about. I think that would be a really fun video to film and watch, I think. Okay, so let's see. The next one is Opportunity, Montana. Big Copper, Bad Water, and the Burial of an American Landscape by Brad Taylor. And I looked this up. It seems to be like a real place, like Opportunity, Montana. But let's see. It was in 2002. The Texas journalist Brad Taylor decided to strap a canoe onto his truck and move to Montana. Had like this mythic pull to him, like the America's imagination on the unspoiled landscape. He's the son of an engineer who reclaimed wastewater. Taylor was looking for a pristine river to call his own, but what he found instead was a century's worth of industrial poison clogging the Clark Fork River, a decades-long engineering project to clean it up in a forgotten town named Opportunity. So this seems to be like a mix of a memoir and, location, landscape, nature, and, man on a mission to, more like environmental cleanup as well. So this seems like another interesting book. And then this next one, I was thrilled to see. I have looked for this book when I go to like thrift stores, because I've always wanted to own a copy, and I have seen this in stores before, but it was never in good condition. Like it was missing the pages here. I mean the dust jacket, or it was like most of the time it was like there was like ratty condition. But I found this, and it's like really good condition, and there's no like, so sometimes I flip through it and there's like food stains and whatnot, but this one is in really good condition. There's no highlighting or writing or stains. There's no bent pages. It comes with a handy dandy bookmark, and yeah, I am just so happy to find this for $3. And when I went to the cashier to check out, she was like, "Oh, you have to try the brownies in here." She said there's just enough flour to hold it together, but it's mainly butter, sugar, and chocolate. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that sounds really good. And she had this whole story. She was telling me that she got her very first cookbook, The Joy of Cooking, as a wedding present, and it lasted until her daughter was 10 years old. It was completely falling apart, so she got a second one, and then just the last couple of years, her daughter is fully grown, as an adult, and got her for her birthday one of these, and so now she's on to her third Joy of Cooking cookbook. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm going to take her word on it and make the brownies. That's my very first thing because I love brownies. So yeah, so excited to get this, and just like it's all like a how-to guide for everything you can imagine. So yeah, it's very, very hefty book. Oh, and actually there's a recipe in the back. Someone maybe like pulled this recipe out of here, like wrote it down. But this is for a pumpkin bread. So that's nifty. And it's the perfect timing right now for the fall weather. But it's nice. Like I think whoever had this made there. Maybe I wrote them down outside of the cookbook because, like I said, there's no writing at all in this book. Let's see. I have a couple more. Let's see, Downcut Shen Creek, The Packhorse Librarians of Kentucky by Kathy Appelt and Jeanne Kennela Smitzer. And so I've read 2 books on the Librarians of Kentucky. There was one like what was it, like the Blue People, or it came out a couple years ago. It became really popular, and there's one other book I read on the pack horses, the Librarians of the Pack Horses going through the mountains. But this is a picture book, sharing like some of the families who were the recipients of the books, and like the librarians. And there's not a ton of text. This is like the librarian on a horse, but just enough. But it just seemed really interesting to see, like the real life pictures of this. And so I couldn't pass this up when I saw it. And so yeah, this looks like really good too. I just want to get to everything. All these books I found, I just want to read right now. And then one last one is Trails West. This is a National Geographic book, and it follows all along the Oregon Trail with tons of the dust jacket isn't in the best of conditions, but with tons and tons of pictures. And this is another thing, like the essay collections. I have a ton of these books, and I really just need to read them. This is the California Trail to the Rainbow's End. The really pretty mountains, and it just goes along the whole entire way of the Oregon Trail, and documenting like illustrations of what it looked like, and also like real photography of nowadays. I think this probably came out in the 90s, so back in the 90s, and along with like the history of the location. So this just looks, again, like tons of fun. Let's see, when did this come out? Will it tell me here? No, 1979. I was like 90s, but no, 1979. So this is older, but yeah, it looks really good. The dust jacket has a couple like little scratches on it, but I think it's just like 1 or 2, so I can manage with that. So yeah, that was my trip to the library to treat myself. Let's see if I can do a pile of all the books to show you what I got for $20. I love getting tons of books for a little money. I think all of us do, because I have a Barnes & Noble. Like, I could walk to the Barnes & Noble that's near me, but I never go there because, like I said, like my library is so good with getting ebooks in. So all these, almost like 95% of the new books that are coming out are also an ebook, and so I can get those books. I just have to wait a couple weeks sometimes at the library to get them in, and so it's hard to justify getting a brand new book, but I can just get it from the library. But yeah, this is all that I got, and yeah. So hopefully you're enjoying your Friday. This is exactly what I need. I feel like my mood is much brighter now. Like, I was a bit of a cranky pants before, because like just being on the phone that long, it just wears me out. It's like I feel like giving a presentation for that long or something. I don't know. I would just die. I shouldn't say that. If I had to, do a presentation for that long. But just like it's a different mindset. And yeah, just the constant listening and focusing and having to like verbally, respond like for like 7.5 hours it took a lot out of me. But I'm feeling rejuvenated, and now I'm gonna sit down and just like play around and flip through these books and see which one I want to start with. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, BookTube.